Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be diving into something pretty unique.
Yeah.
An ancient book
Okay.
filled with only one word,
Interesting.
fart. Now, before you think we've totally lost it, I assure you there's a method to this madness.
Right.
We've got this ancient text with us, and honestly, it's left us with way more questions than answers.
I can imagine.
What do you even do with a book like this?
Right.
What could the author have possibly been going for?
Yeah.
It's equal parts baffling and intriguing, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The very existence of this book kind of challenges our assumptions of what even is a text.
Right.
You know, I mean, we're so used to narratives and complex sentences and paragraphs just teeming with meaning. But here we are just confronted with just the stark simplicity of a single word and just
repeat it over and over again.
Ad infinitum.
So, okay, let's start with the basics.
Okay.
We know the book is old, but beyond that, there's absolutely no information about where it came from or who wrote it.
Right. It's a total enigma.
Yeah.
And that lack of context only amplifies the mystery.
Yeah.
Who created this? Why? What purpose did it serve?
Right.
You know, all these questions just immediately spring to mind.
Yeah, it's like stumbling upon a message in a bottle, but instead of a heartfelt plea or a treasure map, it's just fart.
Exactly. And that's what I think makes this so fascinating. It forces us to kind of grapple with the very nature of meaning and interpretation.
Yeah.
What happens when we just strip away all the familiar elements of language and literature?
Yeah.
What are we left with?
Well, initially laughter.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
When I first saw this, I couldn't help but chuckle.
Right.
It's such an unexpected, absurd thing to encounter.
The humor is undeniable.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a natural reaction.
Yeah.
But I also think it's a defense mechanism.
Oh, interesting.
We laugh because we're uncomfortable, because we don't really know how to process something so utterly, unconventional.
Totally.
Yeah.
But then after the laughter subsides, the curiosity sets in.
Right.
And we start to wonder, is there more here?
Yeah.
Is this just some silly joke from history?
Yeah.
Or could there be a deeper meaning below the surface?
That's where the real deep dive begins.
Yeah.
We need to consider the possibility that fart wasn't meant to be taken literally.
Okay.
Perhaps it functioned as a symbol in some forgotten culture.
Okay.
Representing some element, a concept, or even a deity.
So we've got fart as a lost symbol,
Uh-huh.
a word imbued with meaning
Yeah.
that we can only guess at what other avenues could we go down.
Well, we could look at the power of repetition in different cultures.
Okay.
And historical periods, you
Yeah.
know? A lot of spiritual traditions use repetitive chants or mantras as a way to reach altered states of consciousness or connect with the divine.
Right.
Maybe this book served a similar purpose.
So maybe it wasn't meant to be read,
Right.
but rather chanted or experienced.
Exactly.
It's interesting to think about how the repetition itself, regardless of the word,
Right.
could have a transformative effect.
Precisely.
Almost like a meditative state or something.
The repetition could be a focal point for meditation.
Yeah.
Or a way to induce a trance.
Wow.
You know?
It's a far cry from how we think of it today.
Right.
That's for sure. This is where it gets really interesting for me.
Yeah.
We've got this ancient book shrouded in mystery,
Yeah.
and we're left trying to piece together its meaning
Right.
from the most unlikely of clues.
It's a puzzle with a single piece.
Yeah.
And that piece is fart.
And yet, as we've seen, that single piece can be viewed from so many different angles.
Yeah.
Leading to a ton of different interpretations.
And this is just the beginning of our exploration.
Right.
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve even deeper into those interpretations. We'll examine the potential symbolism, the ritualistic use, and even the humor of this enigmatic text.
But before we move on, we want to hear from you, the listener.
Yeah.
What were your first thoughts when you heard about this book?
Right.
What meaning do you see in just the repetition of fart?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you find it funny, unsettling,
Right.
or maybe something else entirely?
We'll be back in a moment to continue unraveling the mysteries of the Fart Book.